Evan dropped to his knees beside Princess Sally's crumpled body. Blood seeped from a gash across her abdomen, staining the iridescent fabric of her gown. He ripped open his medkit with one hand and yanked out a pressure wrap. "Hold still," he muttered, though her eyes fluttered half shut. The wrap's adhesive edges snapped into place over the wound. It constricted tight, staunching the flow. Sally's scales, fine silver-blue ridges along her arms and neck, glistened with sweat. Her chest heaved in shallow gasps. Evan grabbed her bare hand. Her skin felt cool, almost reptilian smooth under his fingers. He pressed 2 fingers to her wrist, checking perfusion. Pulse thready, too weak. She spasmed, her body arched, claws scraping the marble floor of the royal antechamber. Alarms blared from the walls, high-pitched wails in the alien tongue. "Let go!" a voice barked behind him. Evan ignored it. He tightened his grip. Her hand fit perfectly in his, 4 slender fingers against his palm. The spasm peaked, then ebbed. Her trembling slowed. Inch by inch her muscles relaxed under his hold. Her breathing steadied. Deep, even inhales now. Color returned to her scales, a faint shimmer chasing away the pallor. He glanced up. Lord Protector Keth loomed over them, energy pistol drawn and humming. The security chief's armored plates gleamed under the chamber lights. His multifaceted eyes narrowed to slits. "Step back from the princess, human," Keth growled. His voice carried the clipped authority of a soldier used to obedience. Now, Evan didn't budge. "She's stabilizing. Touch her hand yourself if you don't believe me." Keth's pistol twitched higher, aimed at Evan's chest. "You trespass on royal ground. Release her." Saeli's fingers curled weakly around Evan's. Her eyes cracked open, locking onto his face. Violet irises, wide with pain but clearing. She squeezed back. Guards flanked Keth, rifles trained. The chamber doors hissed open. Queen Vera swept in, her crown of crystal spines casting prismatic shadows. Her presence sucked the air from the room. Tall, imperious, scales etched with gold filigree. "What madness is this?" Vera demanded. Her gaze flicked from her daughter to Evan. "Healer Prime." Oshan pushed through the guards, medical scanner in hand. The physician's robes swirled as he knelt opposite Evan, waving the device over Sally's wound. Beeps escalated to frantic tones. "Shock toxins flooding her system," Oshan said. "Her neural lattice is fracturing. She should be seizing." Sally's hand tightened in Evan's. No seizure came. Oshan froze. "Impossible. Vitals normalizing?" Evan met the Queen's stare. "She's responding to contact. Skin to skin stabilizes her." "Let me keep hold." Vera's mandibles clicked. "A human primitive claims to heal my daughter?" "Keth, remove him." Keth lunged. His gauntleted hand clamped Evan's shoulder, yanking hard. Evan twisted free, keeping Saeli's hand locked in his. "You'll kill her," Sally gasped as the separation stretched their arms. Her body jerked. Tremors restarted. Violent now. The pressure wrap held, but her scales dulled, breath ragged. Keth hesitated. His pistol lowered a fraction. "Wait." Oshan scanned again. Contact restores synaptic balance. Her lattice, it sinks to his rhythm. Vera's eyes hardened. "Explain." "Her biology rejects shock through isolation," Oshan said. "Royal bloodlines amplify stress responses. Touch from compatible harmonics counters it. But no Zalith has ever—" Evan cut in. "Me. Human baseline works." Saeli's claws dug into his palm. Not painful. Desperate. She whispered something in her tongue, voice faint but urgent. Vera stepped closer. "Daughter, Mamor," Saeli rasped, eyes on Evan. His touch, anchors. The Queen recoiled. "Forbidden. Humans carry contaminants." "Keth." Another spasm hit. Saeli's free hand clawed the air. Evan pulled her closer, wrapping his other arm around her shoulders. He pressed his palm to her neck, feeling the pulse there sync with his own. Tremors faded. Her head lolled against his chest, breathing deep. Guards shifted uneasily. Oshan's scanner chirped approval. Vera's spines quivered. "How?" "Your kind lacks lattice attunement." Evan shrugged, eyes never leaving Sally. "We hold on. That's human normal." Keth holstered his pistol. "Demonstrate separation." Evan shook his head. She crashes without it." "Test it," Vera ordered Oshan. The healer pried at Saeli's fingers. Evan resisted. She whimpered, body tensing. Enough. Byra snapped. Evidence mounts. But this bond ends at recovery. Sayeli stirred. Mother, he saved me. Veyra's gaze bored into Evan. Temporary. Healer Prime, monitor, Lord Protector, stand down but watch. Hours blurred. Evan sat cross-legged on the cold floor, Sayeli's hand in his. Guards encircled them. Oshan injected stabilizers, but they only worked with Evan's touch amplifying. Sayeli's eyes cleared fully. She traced his knuckles with a claw. Evan Rourke, why risk? Medic's job, he said. You needed holding. Her scales flushed deeper blue. Zaelith do not touch casually. Royals least. He smiled faintly. Humans do. Keth paced nearby. This intimacy breaches protocol. She is promised to Lord Havor. Sally's grip tightened. No. Veyra entered again. Oshan trailing. Progress? Stable? Oshan reported. But lattice repairs require sustained contact. Days, perhaps. Veyra halted before Evan. You demand much, human. What price? None, Evan said. Just her life. The Queen's mandibles parted in what might have been a scoff. Compassion or ploy? Sally's voice strengthened. Truth, mother. Feel it. She tugged Evan's hand toward Veyra. The Queen jerked back. Forbidden, Veyra hissed. Cross-species bonds fracture empires. Evan felt Sally's pulse quicken under his thumb. Empires wait. She doesn't. Oshan nodded. He speaks fact. Without this, she declines. Keth drew his blade halfway. I end the threat. Sally surged up, leaning into Evan. Touch him, Keth. See. The protector froze. Evan extended his free hand. Keth gripped it briefly, then recoiled, eyes widening. Steady harmonics, Keth muttered. Like family lattice. Veyra watched, spines rigid. Impossible. Sayeli's head rested on Evan's shoulder now. Warmth spread where their skin met. Possible. Real. Night fell. Guards dimmed lights. Evan shifted Sayeli onto a pallet, never breaking contact. Her breathing synced to his heartbeat. You fear nothing, she whispered. Field medic, he replied. Seen worse. Her claws laced through his fingers. Stay beyond healing? He met her gaze. Violet depths pulled him in. If you need. Dawn brought crisis. Sayeli's wound festered despite the wrap. Oshan probed it, face grim. Infection breaches lattice, the healer said. Must separate for surgery. Evan's gut twisted. She'll shock out. Sayeli's hand crushed his. No, Veyra loomed. Operate now. Human restrains. Keth seized Evan's arms. Guards hauled him back. Sayeli screamed, body convulsed, scales cracking audibly. Blood welled anew. Evan broke free, lunging. He slammed his palm to her chest. Contact hit like a circuit closing. Convulsions halted. She gasped, clinging. See? Evan panted. Oshan stared. His field overrides infection cascade. Veyra's voice cracked. What are you? Human, Evan said, stroking Sally's brow. We adapt. Sayeli smiled through pain. My anchor. Keth lowered his blade. Protketh's claws clamped Evan's shoulders. The Lord Protector yanked him backward. Sally's body bucked on the litter. Scales split along her side. Blood sprayed in arcs. Her scream tore the chamber. Evan twisted free. He lunged past two guards. His palm slammed onto her wrist. Skin met skin. Her pulse thrashed wild under his fingers, then slowed. Synced. Steady, she gasped. Claws dug into his arm. Evan, he gripped, tighter. Pressed his thumb to her pulse point. Breathe with me. In. Out. Oshan shoved in close. The healer Prime waved his scanner over Sally's chest. Beeps escalated, then flatlined to calm tones. Pulse harmonics normalize, but the drugs. Oshan tapped his device. Ineffective alone. The variable, your human's touch. Keth growled. He loomed but held back. Oshan nodded, eyes locked on the readout. Stabilizing field from contact. Overrides shock cascade. Lattice rebuilds. Evan didn't look up. Sayeli's scales warmed under his hand. Fever broke. He stroked her wrist, kept the rhythm. Footsteps echoed. Heavy. Queen Veyra swept in. Her crown spines flared red. Guards snapped to salute. She halted at the litter. Gazed down, Saili's chest rose even. Color returned to her frills. Evan's hand stayed firm on her wrist. Farah's voice sliced. Explain. Oshan bowed low. Majesty. The human's dermal field anchors her lattice. Infection recedes. Separation triggers collapse. Vera's eyes narrowed on Evan. Contain the human. Isolate. We proceed with surgery. No. Sally's claws tightened.
He stays.
Evan met the Queen's stare. Kept his grip steady. She crashes without me. Keth stepped forward. Threat protocol. Human restrained. Guards closed in. Evan shifted. Blocked their path to Sally. Touch her. You kill her. Dara raised a claw. Obey. Claws bit his arms. Evan shoved back. Held Saili's wrist with one hand. Fought with the other. Saili whimpered. Pulse fluttered under his fingers. Oshan barked. Stop. Scans confirm. Too late. Keth wrenched Evan's arm free. Contact broke. Saili convulsed. Back arched off the litter. Scales cracked wider. Blood pooled. Her scream rattled Evan's bones. He roared. Slammed his elbow into Keth's chest plate. Broke loose. Drove his hand back to her wrist. Pulse jumped. Then locked. She sagged. Clung. Vera recoiled. How? Evan panted. Ignored the Queen. Stroked Sally's frill. Easy. I've got you. Oshan scanned again. Field reestablishes. Lattice intact. Human physiology. Extraordinary. Keth rubbed his chest. Watched Sally's breathing even out. Not threat. Necessity. Vera's spines wilted slightly. She circled the litter. Eyed Evan's hand on her daughter. You claim no rank. No lattice. Yet this. Field medic. Evan kept his voice level. We stabilize. Adapt. Whatever it takes. Sally's eyes fluttered open. Violet depths fixed on him. My anchor. Beyond protocol. Vera hissed. Forbidden. Human taint on royal blood. Evan felt her pulse steady further. Infection's heat faded from her skin. Taint saves lives. Oshan interjected. Majesty. Surgery viable now. With contact maintained. Vera paused. Claws flexed. Proceed. Human under guard. No movement. Keth nodded. Stationed warriors at Evan's back. Blades ready. Oshan prepped tools. Injected numbing agents into Saili's wound. Hold steady, human. Evan nodded. Gripped her wrist. Leaned close. Talk to me. Distract.
Saili's frills flushed.
Your warmth sinks me. Like kin lattice, but deeper. He smiled faintly. Thumb circled her pulse. Humans bond. Skin to skin. Calms nerves. Saves lives in the field. Scalpel hummed. Oshan sliced into the festering wound. Saili's body tensed. Pulse spiked. Evan squeezed. Breathe. In sync. She matched him. Pain lines eased from her face. Infection sloughed out. Oshan flushed it. Sealed lattice with biogel. Clean. Stable. Vera watched every cut. Every beat. This bond. Temporary? Saili whispered. No. Evan stayed silent. Felt her claws lace his fingers. Oshan withdrew tools. Complete. Lattice reforms. Guards relaxed fractionally. Keth sheathed his blade. Vera leaned in. Voice. Low. Human. Release her. Evan hesitated. Looked to Saili. She nodded. Try. He eased his hand away. Inch by inch. Her pulse held. Steady. Oshan scanned. Independent now. Field imprinted. Saili smiled. Weak, but real. Reached for Evan. Stay near. Vera blocked. Enough. Escort him out. Keth gripped Evan's arm. Firmer this time. No fight. Evan glanced back. Saili's eyes pleaded. They dragged him to the antechamber. Locked the door. Shouts erupted inside. Saili's voice rose. No. Thud. Convulsion crash. Evan pounded the door. It's crashing. Let me in. Silence. Then chaos. Guards burst out. Faces pale. Princess seizes. Evan shoved past. Burst into the chamber. Saili thrashed on the pallet. Scales splitting again. Blood everywhere. Oshan pinned her legs. Vira held her head. Stabilize her. Evan dropped beside her. grabbed both wrists. Skin locked, convulsions halted. She gasped. Clung. Vera stared. Spines fully down. Again. Oshan nodded grimly. Imprint deepened. Separation lethal. Keth crossed arms. Human stays. Under watch. Evan stroked her brow. Ignored them. Told you. Anchor. Siley's claws traced his palm. Mine. Vera paced. This. Changes protocols. Alliances. Evan focused on her pulse. Steady now. Politics later. Life first. Hours blurred. Evan sat vigil. Hand in hers. Guards. Encircled. Oshan monitored. Night deepened. Siley's fever broke fully. She slept. Prills relaxed against his shoulder. Keth leaned in. Voice low. You fight like lattice kin. Why? Evan shrugged. Instinct. Protect. Dawn light filtered. Vera returned. Eyed their joined hands. Daughter lives. Because of you. Evan nodded. Didn't release. But forbidden. Vera's claws tapped. Royal lattice pure. Saley stirred. Purest now. With him. Vera sighed. Council convenes. Decide your fate, human. Keth shifted. Escort him to holding. Princess rests. Evan tensed. No separation. Try, Siley murmured. Guards moved. Gentle this time. Pried his fingers loose. Contact broke. Siley's eyes snapped wide. Body jerked. Scales cracked. She crashed hard. Blood welled fresh. Evan lunged back. Damn it, Vera shouted. Stop. Too late. Saley's pulse flatlined under Oshan's scanner. Evan slammed both palms to her chest. Come on. Nothing. Her frills dulled. Lattice failed. Keth froze. What now? Evan pumped her chest. Human CPR rhythm. Skin contact flooded. Fight! Pulse flickered. Caught. Synced wild to his. She coughed. Claws raked his arms. Alive. Oshan gaped. Manual override. Human norm. Revives. Vera knelt. Touched Saley's frill. Enough proof. Evan held on. Sweat dripped. She needs me. Siley's eyes met his. Always. Vera rose. Voice. Steel. Bind them. Containment chamber. Together. Guards hesitated. Now. Vera snapped. They complied. Led Evan and Saley guards, shoved Evan and Saley through the containment chamber door. It hissed shut. Seals locked with a thud. Evan tightened his grip on her hand. Her claws dug into his palm. Steady pulse thrummed under his skin. Siley slumped against him, breath ragged. Scales flickered dull blue. The chamber hummed. Sterile lights buzzed overhead. A single raised platform dominated the center, flanked by restraint cuffs on articulated arms. Medical scanners whirred to life along one wall. Vira strode in through a side hatch, her crown frills rigid. Claws clicked on the floor. Oshan followed, scanner in hand. Keth loomed behind, blaster holstered, but fingers twitching. Secure the human, Vira ordered, voice like grinding stone. Oshan, sedate the princess. Prove we control this anomaly. Keth lunged forward, grabbed Evan's free arm, twisted it back. Evan yanked free. Step between Keth and Saley. Touch her, and she dies again. Siley's knees buckled. Evan caught her waist, lowered her to the platform, kept palm flat on her chest. Her lattice pulsed erratic beneath. Oshan approached. Hyposyringe gleamed. Sedative calibrated for royal physiology. She rests. We isolate variables. Evan blocked the hypo with his forearm. Needle skittered off metal brace on his medic kit. No drugs, no restraints. Run a live trial. Timed contact. Timed separation. Record everything. Vera's eyes narrowed. Frills flared crimson. You dictate terms, mammal? Evan met her gaze. Calm. Your scanners don't lie. Watch her vitals. Prove me wrong. Keth growled. Hand on blaster. Shoot him. End this. Siley rasped. Mother, listen. Vera waved Keth back. Claws retracted a fraction. Proceed, Oshan. 5-unit intervals. Contact first. Oshan nodded, synced his scanner to the chamber's hollow display. Beeps echoed. Baseline locked. Evan pressed both hands to Saley's temples, skin to scale. Her frills perked. Lattice glowed steady teal. Contact established, Oshan announced. Pulse. Stable at 82. Oxygen saturation, 97%. Lattice integrity, 94%. Saley exhaled. Claws eased on Evan's wrist. Eyes cleared, locked on his. 5 units elapsed, Ocean said. Initiate separation. Evan hesitated. Squeezed her hand once, pulled away. Contact broke. Saley's body seized. Scales split along ribs, blood beaded crimson. She arched off the platform. Claws slashed air. Holodisplay screamed. Pulse plummeted to 42. Oxygen crashed to 71%. Lattice fractured. Red line spider webbing. Re-establish, Vera barked. Evan slammed palms back to her chest, pushed down firm. Human rhythm sank. Breathe. Vitals spiked. Pulse clawed to 79. Oxygen rebounded. Lattice knit. Oshan circled. Scanner word frantic. Impossible. Separation induces cascade failure. Contact. Stabilizes. Human norm overrides. Again, Evan said. Voice even. Prove it's consistent. Vera crossed arms. Eyed the display. Do it. Second interval. Contact. Vitals peaked. Optimal. Separation. Crash. Worse this time. Pulse to 28. Scales hemorrhaged. Evan revived. Hands steady. Sweat beaded his brow. Ignored the sting of her claws in his flesh. Third round. Same pattern. Display graphed it clear. Nosedive without him. Recovery with. Oshan lowered scanner. Frills limp. Data irrefutable. Princess lattice bonds to human dermal field. Separation lethal. Keth shifted. Blaster hand relaxed. What sorcery? Instinct, Evan said. Didn't look up. Kept contact. Protects, Saley murmured. My protector. Vera paced. Claws tapped rhythm. Holodisplay looped the trial. Red crashes. Teal recoveries. Council chamber feed flickered on a wall screen. Shadowy figures murmured. Royal lattice purity debated. Enough, Vera snapped. Screen blanked. She faced Evan. Continuous contact authorized. Under guard. Keth. Post rotations. Oshan monitor. Evan nodded. Released tension in shoulders. Saley's hand found his. Interlaced fingers. But, Vera continued. Voice steel-edged. Intimacy constitutes treason. No embraces beyond necessity. No lattice meld simulations. Breach, and the human dies. Keth saluted. Understood, Majesty. Oshan adjusted cuffs on the platform. Restrain for safety. Prevent accidental separation. Evan eased Saley onto the platform. Secured her wrists loose. Then his own. Within reach. Their forearms touched. Vitals held. Guards posted at door. Blasters primed. Vera lingered. Eyed their joined skin. You save her, for now. Door hissed shut behind her. Saili turned her head. Frills brushed his cheek. Warm. Thank you. Evan traced a crack in her scale. Thumb gentle, not leaving. Her lattice hummed, synced to his heartbeat. Slow. Strong. Hours blurred. Guards rotated. Oshan checked hourly. Vitals flawless. Saley's strength returned. Claws stroked his arm, patterns alien. Intimate. Evan felt it. Pull, deeper than skin. Keth entered at shift change, dropped a ration pack. Human-grade protein bars, stared at their hands. You eat. She rests. Evan tore a bar open, chewed. Offered her a piece. She sniffed. Nibbled from his fingers. Keth grunted. Lattice reacts to saliva traces too? Oshan bustled in. Scanner out. Minor boost. Dermal field extends. Saley smiled. Fangs glinted. Taste. Good. Evan chuckled. Low. Kept contact. Night cycle dimmed lights. Guards dimmed too. Boots softer. Saley's eyes glowed faint. Evan. Why risk? He shrugged. Palm flat on her abdomen. Felt her breathe. Medic oath. Protect life. Her claws curled around his wrist. Pulled closer. Frills quivered. More than oath. Heat built. Skin tingled where scales met flesh. Lattice pulsed invitation. Evan swallowed. Vera's warning echoed. Treason, but her eyes pleaded. Body arched slight. Vitals dipped a hair on the monitor. He leaned in. Forehead to frill. Contact deepened, stabilized. she sighed. Claws raked light trails down his arm. Not pain, promise. Door hissed. Vera returned. Alone. Evan pulled back. Hands stayed linked. She scanned the display. Optimal, then them. Progress? Sally nodded, stronger. Vera's gaze hardened on Evan's marks. Claw scratches faint red. Control yourselves. Evan held steady. Doing my job. Oshan trailed in, datapad glowing. Lattice repair at 87%. Human field accelerates by 300%. Vera tapped claws. Council views trial. Demands purity test. Keth burst through. Intruders. Fringe rebels breached outer ring. Alarms wailed. Chamber lights flashed red. Vera whirled. Secure, princess. Guards drew blasters. Formed wedge. Sally's hand clenched. Vitals flickered. Evan stood. Pulled her up with him, arm around waist. Stay with me. Rebels? Lattice purists? Didn't matter. Explosions rocked the hall. Blaster fire cracked. Keth fired back. Fall back. Protect the queen. Vera drew her own blade. Frills battle crimson. Chamber lockdown. Door buckled. Rebels poured in. Scaled fanatics. Chanting purity. One lunged at Sally. Knife high. Evan shoved her behind. Tackled the attacker. Human grapple. Elbow to throat. Crack. Attacker dropped. Sally blasted another with stolen blaster. Precise. Evan fought barehanded. Punches landed solid. Human endurance. Keth covered flank. Human fights like demon. Rebels swarmed. Blasters scorched walls. Evan dragged Sally to platform. Hands locked. Down. Vera slashed two. Blood sprayed. Evan slammed the platform controls. The floor dropped. Sally clung to his arm, scales slick with sweat. They plunged into the sublevel shaft. Rebel screams fading above. Brace! Evan yelled. Her frills quivered against his wrist. Lattice display strapped to her chest beeped. Vitals dipping. His skin on hers held the line. Human warmth. Alien biology. It worked. No time to question. Shaft doors hissed open at the base. Guards swarmed in. Keth at the front. Blasters leveled. Medic princess, Keth barked. Evan hauled Sally out. Rebels hit the chamber. Queens holding. We move. Now. Keth's eyes narrowed on their linked hands. Contact protocol? Non-negotiable. She crashes without it. Explosions rattled the ceiling. Dust sifted down. Keth nodded once. Perimeter sprint. Days 2 corridors over. Evan scanned Sally. Ribs bruised from the fall. Lattice at 82%. Touch stabilized it, but movement risked crush. He ripped medkit straps, yanked sterile gauze packs. Hold still. Her claws dug in lightly, trusting. He looped microtubes from his forearm guard, salvaged shuttle parts, into a flexible cuff. Wove hypoallergen weave around her torso, anchored it to his bracer without pressure points. Tested tension, firm, no crush, harness set. He clicked it secure, her side flush to his arm, hand to throat link locked. Vitals? Steady, she whispered, eyes half-lidded. Keth signaled. Wedge out. Guards burst into the corridor. Blaster fire cracked ahead. Rebel scouts. Keth dropped 2 with precise shots. Clear! Evan ran. Sally matched stride, body molded to his side, harness flexed perfect. Her breath synced with his. Human pace pushed alien limits, but she held. Left flank! A guard shouted. Rebel popped from a vent. Evan pivoted, shielded Sally, shoulder checked the attacker into the wall. Bone crunched. Guard finished it. Keth glanced back. Human fights clean. Rescue training. Evan kept eyes forward. Corridor lights strobed red. Alarms wailed. Sally's lattice hummed. 90% now. His touch accelerated repair. Aliens stared at scans like miracles. Right turn. Medical bay doors loomed. Oshan waited inside, datapad ready. Queen Vera's voice boomed over comms. Status. Keth thumbed his earpiece. Princess inbound. Human tethered. Pause. Then, admit no one else. Guards peeled off, forming outer ring. Evan hit the bay threshold. Sally stumbled. Vitals flickered. He tightened grip. Almost there. Inside, Ocean waved scanners. Lattice surging. Human factor. Impossible. Evan eased Saley onto the central cradle. Harness kept contact. Bay hung to life. Sterile fields engaged. Regen lattices priming. Keth lingered at the door. Rebel's chants echoed distant. Seal it. His claw slammed the lockdown. Doors Irished shut. Bolts clanged. Evan spun. What the hell? Queen's order. Keth's frills flattened. Neutral. Rebels want purity. No humans in the line. You're trapped with her. Prove your use. Evan tested the panel. Locked. Solid. No override. He turned back to Saeli. Cradle monitors glowed green. 92%. Her chest rose steady. Oshan hovered. Detachment. Now. Standard fields take over. Evan shook his head. She drops without skin contact. We've seen it. Healer scoffed. Human superstition. Biology doesn't bend. Saley's eyes fluttered. Lattice hit 95%. She stirred. Claws flexed on his arm. Evan leaned in. Easy, you're safe. Her gaze locked on his. Violet slits sharpened. No fear. Recognition. She yanked his harnessed hand. Up to her throat. Pressed palm flat against pulsing frills. Full contact. Skin to scale seal. Vitals spiked optimal. Lattice repair jumped to 98%. Ocean reeled. Datapad clattered. Shock response inverted. Human touch. It's rewriting her cascade. Evan held steady. Her claws traced his wrist scars. Gentle. Possessive. Heat built where they touched. Not just medical. Something deeper. Forbidden pulse. Keth watched from the door viewport. Silent. Saley's voice rasped, intimate. You, only you. Evan swallowed. Princess chose him. Life support, bond sealed. But rebels hammered outer doors. Veyra's comm crackled. Oshan, report purity. Healer prime froze. Evan's hand stayed locked. No pulling back now. Zaylee's frills flushed against his palm. Warmth spread. Her eyes dared him to stay. Outside, blaster fire intensified. Keth drew blade. They breach soon. Evan nodded to Saeli. I'm not going anywhere. She pulled him closer. Lattice hit 100%. Yield. But the bond, just beginning. Oshan stammered. This defies. Alarm screamed. Hull breach warning. Rebels inside the perimeter. Keth whirled. Incoming. Saeli sat up. Blaster and claw. From where? She pressed into Evan's side. Together, Evan gripped her harness. Human strength. Alien fire. They'd hold. Veyra's voice cut through. Evan Rourke, your trial begins. Doors buckled. Rebels chanted purity. But Saley's touch anchored him. Compassion across scales. Life-saving. Forbidden. He met her eyes. Ready? Her smile. Fierce. Royal. Always, they stood as one. Explosions rocked the bay. Shards flew. Rebels poured through vents. Fanatics, blades gleaming. Evan shoved Saeli behind the cradle console. Harness stretched taut. Contact held. Cover, he barked. She fired first shot. Precise. Rebel. Dropped. Keth charged the breach. For the queen! Oshan scrambled for medlocks. Useless now. Evan vaulted the console. Barehanded again. Rebel lunged. Knife aimed at harness link. Evan caught wrist. Twisted. Human leverage snapped bone. Another flanked. Saeli's blaster cracked. Cover fire perfect. Thereafter the bond, Keth roared, slashing two. Evan dragged a rebel down. Punched throat. Gasped orders in guttural tongue. Purge the human taint. Saley's hand yanked his back. Bull throat contact. Vitals surged. Not hers. His adrenaline spiked. Shared rhythm. Oshan yelled from corner. Fields failing. Lattice feedback. Human amplifies her. Rebels swarmed. 10 now. Blasters chewed console. Evan pulled Saley low. Harness off. Run. She shook head. Claws dug. No. You live. Veyra burst through side panel. Personal guard wedge. Queen blade dripped rebel blood. Frills battle crimson. End this, she snarled. Her slash cleaved 3. Guards mopped remnants. Silence fell. Bodies smoked. Veyra advanced. Eyes on Evan's hand. At Saeli's throat. Detachment. Now. Saley rose. Still linked. Mother. He saves me. Queen's claws flexed. Purity Council watches. Human, unclean. Evan stood firm. Results don't lie. Lattice full repair. Oshan nodded, trembling. 300% acceleration, confirmed. Keth sheathed blade. He fought as kin. Vera's gaze bored in. Scratches on Evan's arm, from Sally's claws earlier, faint red. Intimate marks. Control, she hissed. Evan met it, protecting her. Sally's frill brushed his skin, pulse quickened. Bond hummed, Queen turned. Lockdown lifts. But trial continues. Human prove worth beyond touch. Doors hissed open. Guards reformed. Sayale leaned in. Whisper only for him. Stay close. Evan nodded. Harness stayed. Forbidden. Vital. Corridor sprint resumed. Queen ahead. Keth rear. Rebels routed. But whispers lingered. Purity chants. Evan felt her heartbeat sync with his. Compassion crossed species. Life-saving capability, but sacrifice loomed. Council demanded purity test. What price for this bond? Sally's eyes locked again. Choice made Evan's boots skidded on the polished corridor deck as Queen Vera shoved open the healer's vault doors. Alarms blared. Sayeli's claws dug deeper into his forearm. Her frill fluttered wild against his neck. Stabilize her, Vira barked. Evan dropped to one knee, pulling Sayeli down with him. Healer Prime Oshan rushed forward, a scanner humming. Shock mounting. Vascular lattice fracturing again. Evan pressed his palm flat against Sally's chest node. Her skin cooled under his touch. Breathe with me. In for 4. Hold 2, out for 6. He matched her rhythm, his pulse sinking to her vascular cluster. Thump thump. Her frill stilled. Node warmed. Sally's eyes locked on his. Evan, it steadies. Oshan leaned in, scanner beeping frantic. Impossible. Human cadence overrides cascade. Lattice integrity. Holding at 87%. Guards formed a ring. Keth loomed at the edge, blade half drawn. Vera paced, claws clicking. How long until full repair? Evan kept his hand firm. Pulse match buys time. Teach her the pattern. He guided Sally's free hand to his wrist. Feel it here. Copy. She nodded, claws retracting slight. Her breathing slowed. In. Hold. Out. Their pulses merged, human steady against alien flutter. Oshan muttered, Purity protocols demand separation. Yet this works. Sayeli's grip tightened on Evan's wrist. She yanked him closer. Her whisper cut through the hum. Promise me. Don't let the court split us again. Evan met her gaze. Her eyes shimmered violet. I won't. Not while you need this. She pressed his hand harder to her node. Swear it. On your healer's oath, I swear. His thumb traced her vascular ridge. Warmth spread. Her frill brushed his jaw. Soft, electric. Vera whirled. Enough whispers. Oshan, plan? The healer straightened, hollows projecting from his gauntlet. Glowing lattice map spun. Surgical graft. Nanites seal the nodes, but shock response blocks all anesthetics. Her biology rejects them. Evan frowned. What about cryosedation? Failed thrice. Oshan's frill drooped. Only stabilizer now. Human contact. Pulse sync dulls pain receptors. Lattice data confirms. Your heartbeat acts as anesthesia. Under her skin. Sally's node throbbed under Evan's palm. She shivered. Truth, your beat. Silence is the fire. Vera's eyes narrowed. He remains attached? Through incision? Oshan nodded. Direct contact mandatory. Hand on primary node. Monitor secondary via wrist link. Deviation risks cascade failure. Evan flexed his fingers. I can do it. Field medics hold steady and worse. Keth stepped forward, parchment unrolling from his vambrace. Holoseal glowed. Purity Council writ. No. Human unclean. Arrest for contamination breach. Guards advanced. Blasters hummed low. Sally surged up, still clutching Evan. Stand down. He saves me. Keth. Evidence. Scratches on his flesh. Keth pointed. Her marks. Intimate violation. Council demands purge. Evan stood, keeping contact. Sayali's side pressed his. Test me after. She's crashing now. Oshan's scanner shrieked. Lattice drop? 72%. Prep chamber. Vera hesitated. Frill rigid. Delay execution. Proceed. But chains on the human. Keth snarled. My queen. Now. Vera's blade flashed. Guards froze. Med bay activated. Servo arms whirred. Saley lay on the slab. Evan beside. His hand locked to her chest. Her claws laced his wrist. Fear not, she murmured. O'Shawn wielded the scalpel probe. Incision at node cluster. Hold steady, human. Evan nodded, pulse even. In for 4. Her breathing matched. Blade hummed. Skin parted. Saeli's frill spasmed. Pain lanced her eyes. Breathe, Evan said. Thump, thump. His heartbeat flooded her veins. She gasped. It fades. Your rhythm. O'Shawn worked fast. Nanites sprayed. Lattice map greened. Adhesion at 40%. Remarkable tolerance. Keth circled the slab Rit clutched. One slip, human. Your ash. Evan ignored him, focused on her node. Warmth pulsed back, hers to his. Bond deepened. Vera watched from throne shadow. Why does it work? Alien fields reject all but kin. O'Shawn paused, graphed. Human baseline, anomalous.
Steady pulse lacks our harmonic flux. Acts as anchor.
Stabilizes chaos. Saeli's free hand stroked Evan's arm, claws gentle. My anchor. Incision sealed. Map hit 95%. O'Shawn exhaled. Success. But monitor 24 cycles. Keth lunged. Enough. Guards grabbed Evan's shoulders. Saeli bolted up. Release him. Rit activated. Binders snapped on Evan's wrists. Insulated. Contact broke. Saeli screamed. Lattice fractured. She convulsed. Nodes, iced blue. Evan twisted free one hand, slapped palm back to her chest. Got you! Pulse synced. Convulsion halted. She slumped, breathing ragged. Vera's blade pressed Keth's throat. Withdraw the writ. Keth bowed, as you command. But council gathers. O'Shawn scanned. Full repair imminent. Human vital. Evan held on. Saeli's eyes fluttered open. You kept promise. He smiled faint. Always. Doors hissed. Council emissary entered. Robed. Frills stark white. Trial phase 2. Purity test. Sever the bond. Prove her survival without the unclean. Saeli's grip crushed his wrist. Vera tensed. Keth drew blade slow. Evan felt her pulse race. He steadied it, but the test loomed. Severance meant death. Compassion bridged species, yet sacrifice demanded proof. Could he save her, without his touch? Guards seized Evan's arms. He twisted, shoving Saeli against his chest. Her scales pressed warm into his flight suit. No arrest, not now. His voice cut sharp. O'Shawn, open the wound channel. Cut. O'Shawn's frills flared red. The healer prime's claws hesitated over the lattice scanner. Alarms blared from the medbay console. Saeli's nodes flickered chaotic blue. Human protocol. Evan locked his forearm across Saeli's back. Palm flat on her chest plate, right over the pulse point. Her rhythm synced to his heartbeat. Steady. Human steady. You heard the queen. Stabilize her. Now. Keth's blade hissed free. The Lord Protector loomed. Armored frills rigid. Unclean touch defiles royalty. Stand down, mammal. Guards yanked harder. Binders clicked toward Evan's wrists. Insulated weaves meant to sever contact. Saeli's claws dug into his side. Weak, but desperate. She gasped against his neck. Evan, stay. O'Shawn sliced. Laser scalpel hummed. The wound channel parted, gaping red under Saeli's iridescent scales. Graphs waited in cryovials pulsing with harmonic flux, but her lattice rejected them. Chaos surged. Nodes iced over. Blood welled hot across Evan's hand. Slick. He pressed harder, ignored the drip down his wrist. Feed the grafts. Steady pulse. Your words. I'm the anchor. O'Shawn nodded once. Claws danced. First graft locked in. Saeli's body jerked. Alarms spiked. Guards hauled. Evan planted boots. Back off, Keth. She flatlines without this. Keth snarled. Purity demands severance. He signaled. 2 guards piled on, prying Evan's arm. Contact slipped, one heartbeat. Sally's lattice shattered. Blue fractals exploded across the scanner. She convulsed. Claws raked Evan's suit. "Evan!" He slammed palm back. Skin to scale, pulse locked. Convulsion froze. She slumped heavy against him, breathing ragged. "Got you," he murmured. Oshan grafted faster. Second vial. Third. Blood soaked Evan's sleeve. Alarms wailed. Guards growled, circling. Keth's blade hovered inches from Evan's neck. Doors exploded open. Queen Vera stormed in. Crown frills erect, eyes blazing violet. She scanned the bay. Sally's stabilizing vitals. Evan's bloodied grip. Report. Oshan didn't pause. Human contact anchors flux, Majesty. Rejection halted. Grafts at 40%. Vera's gaze locked on Evan, calculating. Then to Keth. "Stand down." Keth bowed stiff. "The unclean stands between my daughter and death." Vera's voice cracked like thunder. "Withdraw." Guards released. Keth sheathed his blade. Slow, jaw clenched. Evan exhaled, kept pressure constant. Sally's warmth seeped through blood. Her free hand found his arm. Claws traced gentle. "Think. You focus on breathing." He matched her rhythm. In, out. Human calm pierced alien chaos. Oshan hit 60%. Map glowed green. Lattice rebuilding. Harmonic flux sinking to his baseline. Vera stepped closer, watched the scanner real time. Blue fractals faded. Nodes warmed gold. Saili's color returned. Scales shimmering soft purple. "Our fields reject all but Ken." "Why does it work?" Sally's voice faint but clear. She nuzzled Evan's chest. Oshan paused, graft. Claws trembled. Human baseline. Anomalous. Steady pulse lacks our harmonic flux. Acts as anchor. Stabilizes chaos. Evan felt her pulse steady under his palm. Stronger. His own heart thumped even. No flux. Just meat and will. Saili's claws stroked his arm. Gentle. "My anchor." Incision sealed with a hiss. Map hit 95%. Oshan exhaled. Success. Monitor 24 cycles. Keth lunged. "Enough." Guards grabbed Evan's shoulders again. Saili bolted up. "Release him!" Her writ activated. Royal override pulsed from her collar. Binders snapped on Evan's wrists. Insulated. Contact broke. Sally screamed. Lattice fractured. Nodes iced blue. She convulsed. Thrashed off the slab. Evan twisted. Napped one binder with a medic's override trick. Field medics trained for restraints. Slapped palm back to her chest. "Got you." Pulse synced. Convulsion halted. She slumped into him. Breathing ragged. Vera's blade flashed. Pressed Keth's throat. "Withdraw the writ." Keth bowed. "As you command." But counsel gathers. Oshan scanned. Full repair imminent. Human vital. Evan held on. Sally's eyes fluttered open. Violet depths locked on his. "You kept promise." He smiled faint. Thumb brushed her scale. "Always." Doors hissed. Council emissary entered. Robbed. Frills stark white. Trial phase 2. Purity test. Sever the bond. Prove her survival without the unclean. Saili's grip crushed his wrist. Fear spiked her pulse. Evan steadied it. His calm flooded in. Vera tensed. Crown frills quivered. Keth drew blade slow. Watched Evan like prey. The emissary unrolled a hollow scroll. By ancient code. Severance chamber preps. Princess enters alone. Human restrained. Survival proves purity. Evan's gut twisted. He knew her biology now. Severance meant shock. Chaos. Death. Saili's claws bit deeper. "Mother." No. Vera's blade stayed on Keth. But her eyes flicked to the emissary. "Council demands proof." Oshan frills drooped. "She dies, emissary." Data confirms. Data defies tradition. The emissary's voice iced. Uncoupling now. Guards. Keth signaled. They advanced again. Insulated poles extended. Shock weaves to force separation. Evan braced. Pulled Saley tighter. "Touch me." And she drops. Saili's breath hitched. "Evan." "Fight." He scanned the bay. Med tools. Lattice scanner. Ocean's cryo vials. Options flickered. Medic instinct kicked in. Vera stepped forward. Blade retracted. Delay. I witnessed this, Anchor. Emissary frills stiffened. Majesty. Witness. Vera's command silenced the room. Evan kept contact. Pulse steady. But the chamber loomed. Severance test. No touch. Her heart would race wild. Lattice ice. Flatline. He'd seen it once already. 3 seconds. That's all it took. Prep alarms sounded distant. Guards shifted. Keth's eyes narrowed. Siley whispered, "Promise." Again. Always. His voice low. For her ears, Oshan cleared tools. Monitor feeds to chamber. Human baseline required? Emissary nodded curt. Remote sync denied. Purity severs all. Veera's claws flexed. Proceed. But I oversee. They herded. Evan walked with Siley braced. Palm never left her chest. Her warmth anchored him now. Chamber doors loomed. Sterile white. Flux fields hummed. Rejection grids primed. Guards pried. Insulated poles jabbed. Evan dodged, locked arms around her. Not without fight. Siley clung, claws in his back. Love, you. His chest tightened. Human word, alien heart. Keth shoved, pole connected. Shock jolted, Evan gritted teeth. Held. Vera barked. Minimal force. They dragged Siley in. Evan lunged. Binders snapped full. Insulated. Locked to wall restraints. Contact severed. Siley screamed. Lattice map flatlined. Nodes blue-black. 0 flux. 1 second. Evan strained. Binders bit. Siley. 2 seconds. Her body arched. Claws scraped air. Eyes rolled white. 3 seconds. Flat. Dead. Vera gasped. Oshan clawed console. No harmonic. Emissary frills paled. Purity holds? Evan roared. Wrenched binders. Medic override. Twist. Snap. One free. He dove. Slapped palm to her chest. Evan's palm slammed onto Siley's chest. Her lattice ignited. Blue nodes flared green. Flux hummed back to life. She gasped. Claws dug into his arm. Pulled him closer. Oshan shoved in. Scanners whirred over her frills, stabilizing. Harmonic restored. Human contact. Mandatory. Evan ignored him. Stroked her scales. Felt her pulse sync with his. Steady now. Guards froze. Keth's polearm lowered. Vera loomed at the console. Claws tapped glass. Explain. Her voice cut the hum. Oshan straightened. Circuits blinked on his collar. Cascade reversed only by human baseline. Separation will trigger another within hours. No purity shield holds without it. Siley's eyes focused, locked on Evan. She squeezed his wrist. Warmth spread up his arm. Vera's frills flattened. Hours? My daughter exposed to? This? Kept his hand firm. Works. That's what matters. Keth stepped forward. Armor clinked. Threat assessment. Human breached restraints. Neutralize? No. Vera's claws flexed. She circled the chamber, eyes on Siley's chest. Evan's palm centered there. Court whispers scandal, human taint on royal blood. But she lives. Siley stirred, pushed up, leaned into Evan's hold. Mother, he saves me. Oshan nodded, confirmed. Alien harmonics reject our fields. Human norm bridges it. Untested, unreplicable. Evan felt her breath hitch, kept pressure even, like staunching a bleed in the field, instinct. Vera halted, towered over them. Proposal, exile. You go with her. Sealed colony. Throne secured, no scandal here. Evan blinked, no terms for himself, no citizenship. Just her. Accepted. Siley's claws tightened. She sat straighter, pulled his hand to her lips. Kissed his knuckles. Witnesses. Record this. Port feeds flickered on. Emissaries leaned in. Oshan's scanner paused. Chosen protector. Her voice rang clear. Frills flared royal blue. By lattice bond. Empire law binds it. Vera's eyes widened. Daughter. Recorded. Keth's console beeped. He saluted. Irrevocable. Evan's throat tightened. Her gaze held his. Promise in those violet depths. His thumb traced her scales. Forbidden. Worth it. Vera exhaled. Prepare shuttle. Sealed. No return. Guards moved. Cleared paths. Oshan packed tools. Muttered about baselines. Saley rose. Clung to Evan. His arm around her waist. They walked out. Her weight leaned perfect, like she belonged there. Corridors blurred. Palace gold gleamed under flux lights. Whispers trailed. Scandal. Human. Bond. Keth led. Flanked them. His scanner swept Evan's hands. Beeped anomalous. Empire cannot copy. Weapon unique. Evan flexed fingers. Calluses from field packs. Nothing special. To him. Shuttle bay doors hissed. Craft squatted. Sleek, imperial seals glowing. Ramp lowered. Siley paused. Turned to Vera. Mother. Trust him. Queen's claws brushed her frill. Brief. Live. That's command. Keth shoved Evan aboard. Gentle force. Protect. Or die trying. Ramp sealed. Shuttle thrummed. Evan guided Saeli to crash seats. Strapped her in. Hand back on chest. Stars-streaked viewports. Exile. Her. She nuzzled his palm. Mine now. His heart. Pounded. Human word. Alien everything. Always. Engines roared. Colony vector locked. Hours away. But her lattice hummed steady. Green. Evan watched her sleep. Claws laced his. First quiet since crisis. Palace faded. New life started. But warnings pinged. Oshan's remote feed. Cascade risk rises off-world. Monitor human contact. He squeezed her hand. No problem. Shuttle banked. Sensors blared. Incoming intercept. Keth's voice crackled. Pirates. Edge lanes. Hold. Evan tensed. Unstrapped. Grab medkit. Weapons. Siley stirred. Defenses prime. Blasts rocked hull. Red lights flashed. Her lattice flickered. Nodes dimmed. No. Evan pressed both palms flat. Stabilized. Stay with me. She nodded. Claws gripped seat. Fight. Turrets whirred. Auto-fire. But pirates swarmed. 3 fighters. Imperial codes spoofed. Evan eyed console. Human hack. Field trick. Jam their flux. Access? He pointed. Siley patched him in. Try. Fingers flew. Medic override codes. Universal backdoor. Pirates' harmonics glitched. Ships spun. One exploded. Debris pinged hull. Her lattice surged green. Stronger. Done. He grinned. Saeli's eyes shone. Pulled him down. Lips brushed his. First kiss. Electric. Shuttle cleared lanes. Colony beacon pulsed, but her frills drooped. Exile cold. No court. Just us. Evan stroked her cheek. Warm enough. They docked. Sealed habitat. Error. Cycled alien suite. Oshan's final ping. Bond holds. Study remote denied. Pure. Doors opened. Wind howled. Barren rock. Their world. Siley stepped out. Hand in his. Lattice blazed. Court called scandal. Queen called survival. Evan called home. Hours ticked. Her nodes wavered. Night cycle. He held tighter. No separation. Ever. But scanners whined. External breach. Shadows moved. Keth's warning. Empire watches. Trust none. Evan armed. Kit as weapon. Protected what mattered. Her. Shuttle seals cracked. Figures advanced. Cloaked. Not pirates. Assassins. For the throne? Saley's claws extended. Together. He nodded. Palm to chest. Bond unbreakable. They charged into dark. Human grit. Alien fire. Life-saving touch. Forbidden. Eternal. First shadow lunged. Evan dodged. Slammed palm. Wait. No. Fist connected. Human bone cracked alien jaw. Saley struck. Lattice boosted. Felled second. They backed to habitat. Door sealed. Breaths synced. Her head on his shoulder. Protector, she whispered. Princess. He kissed her frill. Stars wheeled. Colony silent. But Queen's drone inbound. Vera's voice. Report. Saeli answered. Alive. Bond strong. Pause. Good. Scandal fades. Evan smiled. Compassion won. Across stars. Yet Lattice pinged anomaly. His hand tingled. Transfer? Her eyes widened. Human flux. In me. He checked. Nodes green, permanent. His baseline copied. Ocean scrambled. Impossible. Empire's weapon. Now hers. They laughed. Huddled close. Exile turned Empire. But shadows returned. Larger force. Keth. Hold. Reinforcements. Evan stood. Ready. Her guardian. Lover. Battle loomed. Bond. Their shield. Queen watched feeds. Claws stilled. Daughter lived. Human miracle. Scandal. Legacy.